Welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. In this edition of Dolphin Dive, a very special edition of the Dolphin Dive here with Jenicah Brown of the Moyne Dolphins women's soccer team. The first ever goal scored in the history of Moyne women's soccer as a Division I program. That's a big thing. So, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. Has it sunk in yet that you have forever now, you'll have the first goal scored as a D1 program?
Yeah, I think that it has sunk in.
Okay. Bring me into it. 40th minute, free kick, set it up for us.
I just wanted to make sure that someone was on the end of it because it was a good ball coming in, and it happened to be me. The goalie bobbled it, which I was very thankful for, and I just got to tap it right in.
And that was the thing, coming off the rebound that you were able to get it there. When you're in that tight-knit space and you try to obviously get a goal on that first shot, when there is that bobble and there's that congestion, you have to have like a split-second decision. So just bring me into how quickly you kind of saw it and reacted.
I don't even remember her bobbling it, if I'm being honest. I just saw the ball on the ground, and then I just knew I had to react as soon as I could to get it in the back of the net.
Did you, in that moment, think, I know you're in the run of play, you're in a match, but did you think to yourself, like, this is the first goal?
I did.
You did?
It crossed my mind after it happened, and I was really excited.
This team for Moyne women's soccer, first game at the University of Maine, first game as a Division I institution, full member institution for Moyne inside of the NEC. You go on the road with that game, 5-0 loss. But to go back to that game, your team never gave up. And in those last few minutes, I was watching there on the live feed, there was this constant push to try and score. Why is the team like that? When you're down 5-0, instead of hanging your heads, you were still getting after it like that next goal could be a tie.
We never want to give up when we're playing because it's building to the next game, the game after that, and we're practicing to get better and better, and every moment of the game you can get better, and hopefully that makes you better for the next game.
The next game was Iona, and it's a 1-0 decision. So that already showed the defense improving. From the first game to the second game, what do you feel like the team did? With you as a midfielder, what did you do? And then what did you kind of see the team do overall to, despite losing the second game to Iona, not allowing as much and obviously playing them really close into what could have been a tie?
We definitely worked more on our team shape and defending first instead of looking to attack, and we utilized the chances when we had the opportunities.
Yaro Zavaslan, your head coach, unique personality, very passionate person. How would you describe him as a coach?
Like you said, he's very, very passionate about the game. He can be intense at some points and some parts of training, but he wants the best for the program, and he always wants to make us better players all around.
You came here from Cazenovia. So Cazenovia obviously in a unique circumstance, but why did you choose Moyne?
It's around the same area, so I was familiar with Syracuse and DeWitt and Fayetteville, and I really liked the girls when I came for my visit, and I really wanted to play soccer, and I liked the academics.
You're coming from Cortland. So Cortland area, well, there's a couple things about Cortland. The first thing I want to ask about Cortland is, what did Cortland do to nature that when it's sunny in Syracuse and it's sunny in Binghamton, there's like fog and snow in Cortland? There seems to always be some type of something in Cortland. Do you feel that way too? That like what did we do?
Yeah, I'm not sure what it is, but
what was it like growing up in Cortland?
It was nice. I grew up with my grandparents, and I played soccer from a young age and all throughout high school. Cortland it's something, but
You said you grew up with your grandparents. What was it like to experience life with them and them raising you?
It was the best situation possible. They always supported me at my games. They've been to almost all the games they can go to, except for far away, like Maine, for instance. They couldn't make it to that one, but they've always supported me.
What is it about their leadership in your life that you think's made you a better person?
They always just encourage me to try my best, and that's good enough for them. And as long as I try my best, it's good enough for me too.
What are their names?
Brad and Marlene Brown.
Brad and Marlene. I'm going to shout them out. So, favorite thing about Brad, favorite thing about Marlene?
Marlene, her cooking.
Okay.
Yep. And Brad, probably his humor.
Okay. Cooking and humor. So, what's the best thing that Marlene's ever made?
Her homemade spaghetti and meatballs.
Spaghetti and meatballs, homemade spaghetti and meatballs. All right. It's very hard. I just this week went out to dinner with my dad, and I was going to get a meatball sub, and I was like, no, because I don't trust people to make it in restaurants. I'm like, you got to make it at home. And he got it, and I said, what do you think? And the look on his face. So Marlene makes good homemade meatballs.
Yes, and her sauce is, I'm very picky with sauce because of it.
Yeah, well, you have to be.
Yeah.
That's why it's very hard to find it, because nothing beats homemade.
Yeah.
At all. So speaking of homemade, you guys finally get to come home. And that's going to be a unique experience. It'll be the first Division I game for women's soccer at home at Ted Grant Field, which is going to be this Sunday. And on Sunday, September 3rd at 1 o'clock. I know you have obviously a game in between, but what do you think about finally getting to play where you practice?
It's very exciting. We'll know the field very well,
Yeah.
So we don't have to go scope it out before the game. And it's exciting that we'll be able to have fans and family and friends come.
Binghamton is the game in between. It's another New York team. So you've had Iona, you've had the win over Niagara, and now you have Binghamton. Is that exciting for you, being a New Yorker, that you get to have all of these games that maybe could be rivalries down the road, even if they're even being non-conference?
Yeah, it is exciting to be able to play teams that aren't too far away.
So to go back into the win over Niagara, you guys are down 2-0. Again, could have given up, could have said, hey, here we go again. What was it about this team and your personal responsibility, your professionalism to say, we can still do this thing? And you didn't only win the game, you scored the last 3 goals of the game as a team.
None of the girls ever give up, whether it's in practice or on the field. And we saw what happened at Iona, and we really came back from that experience and never wanted to give up when we were playing Niagara.
What was it about Iona that just stayed with you as maybe a bad taste in your mouth? What did you learn from that game?
That you can't give up any plays, even towards the end of the game when you think the game's over, there's no time left. There's always time left.
And so to be a part of this, like I said, historic, bringing it all back together, the historic first goal ever for Moyne women's soccer as a Division I program. Jenicah is the one that helped to set this up, right? The assist. So what can you say about her and about the play that was created from what she gave you?
Well, she's my roommate too.
Okay.
So it was definitely exciting that I got to have that experience with her, and it was a perfect ball in the box, and like I said, I just hoped someone got onto it, and it was me.
So she's your roommate. We're gonna play some roommate questions right now, okay? Who plays the music louder, you or Jenicah?
Jenicah.
Okay. What kind of music is she playing?
Anything and everything.
Okay.
A little bit of everything.
If one of you had to cook for survival, who would do it?
Oh, it would be her.
It would be her?
Yep.
Okay. What do you think she would make?
Something German, because she's from Germany.
Okay, something German from Germany. All right. Between the two of you, who is the most serious when you have to be?
We're both pretty serious when we have to be. We like to joke around and everything, but when it comes down to it, we're both pretty serious.
Okay. So how would you describe her as a roommate respecting space? Does she take over some space? Do you take over some space? Do you guys kind of throw everything together, or do you have your own spots?
We have our own spots, but her side of the room is definitely more organized than mine right now.
Okay, so she's the more organized
Yeah.
person. you're controlled chaos, right?
Yeah.
That's what you could say. You know where stuff is.
I know where everything is, but
it's maybe in piles.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, with that being said, we're gonna play some rapid fire going off of that. You get to put me on the hot seat. I get to put you on the hot seat. Could be about soccer. Could be about anything. In this edition of Dolphin Dive with Jenicah Brown, the first goal scored in the history of the Moyne Dolphins women's soccer as a D1 program. And I'm going to keep saying it because it's pretty awesome. You got to have more now.
Yeah.
We're early on in the season, so we got to end the season with a bunch more and awesome moments. But getting into rapid fire, you can ask me first.
Anything?
Anything in the world, I have to answer it.
Where are you from?
Syracuse, New York.
Okay.
So I'm from here, born and raised on the north side, like maybe 10 minutes from Lemoyne, 12 minutes,
Got it.
something like that. All right, I'm going to get one. We're going to go back and forth. I know where you're from, so we talked about food with spaghetti and meatballs, so let's go to this. One movie you can watch forever.
The Blind Side.
The Blind Side?
Yeah, that's my favorite movie.
Okay, why?
It's a feel-good movie.
Okay, all right, The Blind Side. All right, what's your question for me?
What's your favorite food?
I'm Hispanic and Italian, so I'm very spoiled. I would say both my grandmas are up in heaven, but G-Mama, my mom's mom, her stuffed shells. And I would say her stuffed shells, my other grandma I called Gammy, her veal, and my mom's manigot, which if you're not Italian, they call it manicotti, which I can't stand, but manigot. So yeah, I would pick those three. I can't pick one woman in my family, I'll get in trouble. So I would say that. All right. Well, we didn't talk about music for you, so 3 songs you can't live without.
I don't think I have any 3 specific songs. I listen to songs from the 1960s.
Okay.
Because my grandparents
Yeah.
influenced me a lot, but I don't think I can pick just 3.
Do you have maybe an artist or a band that you're like, I can't live without their music?
I like Elvis a lot.
Elvis, okay.
Yeah.
All right, do you have a favorite Elvis song?
Kentucky Rain.
Kentucky Rain. I will say that Elvis is a very smart man because I now have peanut butter and banana like as much as possible. No bread, just banana, scoop up the peanut butter piece by piece. He's a smart guy for coming up with peanut butter and banana. All right, what's your last one for me?
Why have you never left Syracuse? What kept you here?
Oh, I did leave. I came
You did?
back. Yes,
Did you?
I did. I left a couple times. So I left to go to school in Pennsylvania. And then I left again to go back to work in Pennsylvania, and then I went down to Florida. So what brought me back is I was at a crossroads trying to figure out where I wanted to take the next chapter of my career. And it was either to go here or Connecticut. And I came back home. I kind of wanted to just reset, figure things out. Started my business here. And at 26 years old, I had 27 cents in my pocket. I had $103 in my bank account. Was taking care of my mom's mom, living with her after she had fallen. And it just felt like the right place to be. So what brought me home? Probably family, God. They say when you ask for certain things, you're not always going to get them immediately. I asked God to send me a shooting star to give me some type of a sign. And I looked up, and I kid you not, a green line of a shooting star was right over my head in Orlando, Kissimmee, Florida. And I don't know, something after that, I just kind of knew. Even though I didn't know, I knew what I needed to do. It kind of just happened. So, yeah, I love it here. And, what better place than your hometown? So my last question for you. Okay, it's going to be a 2-parter. What is your favorite thing about Cortland? Since it is such an interesting place.
Okay.
So what is your favorite thing about Cortland? And if you could live anywhere in the world for a year, where would you go and why?
My favorite thing about Cortland would be that my grandparents are there. And that's why I go home a lot, just to see them.
Okay.
And then if I could live anywhere for a year, I want to say definitely somewhere warm. I'm sick of the New York weather, so maybe I'd go to like Hawaii.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, living down in Florida, I just got back from Florida. It's 90 every day.
Yeah.
So it's different. You have to our humidity here is worse than Florida. So like down in Florida when it's hot, you can like walk around.
Right.
When it's hot up here, you feel like you can't like breathe. So it's a little bit different, but yeah, I mean, I would suggest maybe Florida, Hawaii.
Yeah.
I haven't been there, I want to go. But Cortland, I knew you were going to say family.
Yeah.
So special thing about that, Jenicah Brown and the Moyne Dolphins women's soccer team, come out and see them on the pitch, on the road, and at home at Ted Grant Field. The first ever goal scored in the history, which is kind of foreshadowing that Hall of Fame is behind us. Maybe someday, Jenicah.
Maybe.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.